The Breakfast Show here on Faith FM. And Lawson, what's our special offer of the day today?
Yeah, amazing. We've got hashtag display is the code word to receive Jesus, the Son of Man. Now, this particular book, this is like a coffee tale style book, and we would love to give it to you absolutely for free. It is beautiful. It has beautiful pictures and illustrations that are done by Danish painter Carl Bloch. We want to, give this one to you. All you have to do is send in the code word hashtag display to 0491 064 669. Again, that's hashtag display, and we'll send that one out to you absolutely for free.
Very good. And in our interview today, Lawson, I am privileged that we're going to be talking to two of my friends, Troy and Helen Eggleton. They are both volunteer managers of a project in Wauchope. It's an ADRA project.
Awesome.
And they do a community garden, and also they have a food ministry for people that are having it a rough time. So they're going to be talking to us all about that. So good morning to you, Helen and Troy. It's great to have you with us this morning.
Maybe before we get them on the line, what is ADRA?
So ADRA is the Adventist Development and Relief Agency. It's a non-for-profit. It's present in pretty much all countries in the world. And basically they are taking the love of Jesus to people through humanitarian help. So that's all 100%. Kinds. And in different countries, it looks different. But the whole purpose of the development philosophy of ADRA is that they're not there just to perpetuate poverty or need, because sometimes depending on these incentives, if you're just let's say it's not giving the fish, but teaching how to fish kind of thing. Not only teaching how to fish, but teaching how to teach others as well how to fish. And that's what I find beautiful about their development philosophy.
We've got Troy and Helen on the phone. Troy, how are you going?
Good, thank you.
Fantastic. Troy,
how are you?
We're doing well, and we want to know a little bit more about your super van and your community garden projects. So can you tell us a little bit about your ministry in the city of Wauchope, New South Wales with ADRA? What kind of services do you offer?
Okay. Well, our ministries includes two projects, as you mentioned, the super van and community garden. The one that we call super van provides free soup, buns, produce and other items to form like a mobile food pantry, if you like.
Okay. Is the soup nice? Does it taste good?
It's fantastic soup. We have an awesome group of soup volunteers that provide surprises for us each week. There's always something different.
Yeah.
So we have some community members that do that as well, and one of them is an Asian specialist cook, and she brings us some real special treats along as well. So, yeah, there's a lot of variety in our soups.
Yeah, that sounds incredible.
Amazing.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
And Helen, what about the garden? How is it like?
We've got an amazing garden. It's up and running for about a year now with the syntropic and wicking beds, so that we can offer a couple of different options for people to learn about gardening. And it's just blooming. It produces food each week for us to send to Supervan, and it's always lovely to have that fresh produce that comes along.
Oh, that's amazing that you're already reaping the produce of your garden. Was there any particular vegetable or that grew particularly well?
Look, Rochelle's got an amazing variety of herbs. We've got lots of lettuce and greens. We've got our fruit trees that are coming along nicely, and hopefully that won't be long before we get some fruit as well.
That's very good. And tell me one thing. One thing that I love to know is like how did you even get started with it? Because it looks like it's a lot of work to run a super van, to coordinate all of the volunteers, to run a garden as well. This takes some time. This takes a lot of commitment. What inspired you to start that ministry?
Okay, well, the ministry really started when a few members from the Wauchope Seventh-day Adventist Church and with some partners from a couple of other churches we'd noticed an increase in the number of people sleeping rough after the COVID mandates, and they decided to explore whether a simple soup and bun service run from a food trailer owned by one of those early founding members would be used by people who were struggling. And so initially it was a slow startup. It was consistent, but there were small numbers at the beginning. Our personal involvement commenced after we'd been helping with the Lismore flood event, and we'd been taking fresh produce to Lismore, and we witnessed firsthand the really positive impact that fresh produce had on these people. So we decided to bring some produce to Supervan and just trial whether that would be useful to people that were struggling with the cost of living crisis that was starting to evolve. And after this was done, our service really began to increase. Pretty soon we were going from using one pot of soup in the evening to 3, and now we can use up to 6 large pots of soup.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
Yes, yeah, we can serve between 80 and 120 people most nights. We have the occasional quiet night, but generally it's between 80 and 120.
So how often does that super van goes around town? Is it once a week? Is it more times per week?
It's once a week, but throughout the week via our Facebook page, some of our patrons contact us in need and various kinds of needs, and we will deliver stuff to them through the week as we can. At the end of an evening, if we've got leftover soup, we put that into takeaway containers and store it in a freezer, and we'll often dispense those through the week to people who are in need. Occasionally we have some leftover produce, but sometimes people are calling out for blankets or sleeping bags or whatever they may need through the week.
Wow.
And yes, a significant number of them are starting to call out to us for prayer now, which is fantastic.
Yeah, this is what I was going to ask, and I'm wondering if Helen also, I'm going to ask from you, Helen, as well. But is there any opportunities? Because you mentioned that there's a number of people from the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Wallhope and other churches around. How do you see? Do you find opportunities to not only bring food but also bring hope for these people to talk about Jesus, or it's not the right environment?
Look, it definitely is the right environment. We always set up a table that has some Bibles and different books that we use, Great Controversy and so forth. And over the last 3 weeks, we've had about 9 Bibles just go from this table. We don't force anyone. They're just sitting there amongst all the grocery items and so forth. So we definitely have that opportunity, which is exciting. But also we pray of a morning around 9 o'clock to see what we do. We've got a wet weather plan. So if it's going to be raining, we go to an undercover area that's been donated by the Wallhope RSL Club to us. And otherwise our preference is to go to Bain Park because that's just a better spot for us. But then come 2 o'clock, we either put in the wet weather plan or go to Bain Park, depending on what the weather's like here. And, God's amazing. He can give us a clear sign at 2 o'clock that it's sunny, and then come few minutes before our service and it's looking really cloudy, but we just continue with trust and faith, and he doesn't let us down.
That's amazing.
We know where to go. And it's given us the opportunity, because there's been a couple of times where there's been just a few little spots of rain while we've been in service, and Troy or other members have been able to just openly pray for God's to stop the rain, and the people that hear that prayer and the response of the rain just dissipating straight away, been very good. Yeah.
Wow, that is amazing. Well, we just talked about it in the show that even the waves of the sea and the clouds, they obey Jesus. So I find it's an amazing display of faith that you're able to reach out to him like that. I'm wondering if you have any stories that you can share. And again, don't feel free not to mention any names, but any story of someone that came through looking for a soup but ended up getting much more than that through faith in Jesus.
There's plenty of those stories, but one of them is
we can use names.
We can use a name because Kelly is on our
ADRA October appeal.
Yeah, in the ADRA October appeal, and she's come along with suffering significant anxiety, and she moved to this area from another town, not too far away, but too far for regular commuting, in order to provide support to her grandma, and because her grandma was very sick. And consequently, she ended up having to pay 2 rents for an extended period of time.
Wow.
Which left her with literally no money. And she came along to get some help. But what happened from that is that she ended up with a safe space that allowed her to come and socialise with people despite her anxiety. And she has regularly, over time, started to trust us enough to ask for prayer.
And have her miracles as responses.
And, her nan has been close to death multiple times, and to the point where they were told she had a day or two to live.
Wow.
And she called out for prayer again and got an instantaneous response. Within days, her nan was getting day leave again and getting to come home. Now, obviously her nan is going to die.
God's reaching Kelly through this ministry.
Yeah.
So that was a couple of weeks ago, the last time we got prayer request for her nan, and her nan is still alive.
Wow. Praise the Lord. What an amazing story. And I think that this is so beautiful when we can combine in this, powerful way, support for those who are in need, but also not only physical support, but also spiritual support as well, so that they can go through these challenges with peace in their hearts. And Troy, I'm wondering what actually made you decide to partner with ADRA, because it looks like it was something that ADRA joined in a little bit later in the picture, wasn't it?
Yes. The Supervan began before then, and what happened was the original owners of the food trailer we were using needed to move on and sell their food trailer, and we needed to find a way to quickly replace that. And ADRA was a logical step for us to take because their values and mission and purpose aligned perfectly with ours. Mm-hmm. And partnering with them gave us access to funding grants that we could apply for under their not-for-profit status. So it meant that we applied for a $25,000 grant from the Foundation for Rural and Regional Renewal, and we were successful with that grant. And we'd have never had access to that grant without ADRA's not-for-profit status.
It looks like you...
Sorry, can I just say
yes,
that
please.
Part of that was, we got this trailer through a company, and they actually gave us free rent or free leasing of this trailer until they built a trailer for us because of the help that ADRA had given them during the flood in the Lismore area. So,
that's
that was
amazing.
just a huge blessing.
That is amazing. Friends, we are running a little bit out of time here, but I actually wanted to ask, this is an incredible story, and clearly you guys are, must be amazing people, because this is like it sounds like a full-time job itself just to manage that. But how can people support your ministry and what you're doing?
Well, yes, it's good that you asked that, because every year ADRA runs the ADRA appeal to raise funds for local community projects. And it's the largest source of funding for ADRA's national programs. And their programs just like ours. There's over 100 ADRA projects just like ADRA Community Connect Warhope in Australia that need support. So you can donate to the ADRA appeal now at adra.org.au/donate. Or you can, if you're part of a church, part of a Seventh-day Adventist church, there will be an offering on the 4th of October that is specifically for the ADRA projects.
That's amazing. Troy and Helen, thank you so much for doing what you're doing here, being the feet, the hand, and the heart of Jesus in the community. What an incredible story. I pray that God will continue to bless you as you bless the community. Thanks so much for sharing your journey here with us today.